Coming up on City Scene today, we get ready to go back to school with tips from the Department of Health. And students in one part of Sioux Falls will have a new way to get to school. And then staying cool, how firefighters battle the heat. Welcome to City Scene right here on CityLink, where each month we go all around the departments in the city of Sioux Falls. And with school starting in Sioux Falls, there are some ways to keep kids healthy and happy. Katie Wick explains.
It's back to school time, and so we have some tips today from our health department on how to get our students ready to go for a healthy new school year. First of all, we have Dr. Stephanie Schmitz with us to talk a little bit about dental care. Thanks for joining us today, Dr. Schmitz.
You're welcome.
What can we do for our students to make sure that they're maintaining their health? They've had a long summer here, had lots of maybe different sugary snacks, and so what can we do to make sure that our students are healthy going into the new school year?
Well, I try to tell all parents and children alike when they come to our clinic that dental care is something that's important year-round, not just while we're in school. Obviously, I know that sometimes habits are easier to keep when we're in a good routine with the school year, but it's important to maintain those healthy habits even through the summertime. Brushing and flossing your teeth twice a day, trying to limit sugary drinks throughout the day, and seeing a dentist, ideally twice a year, is important.
Okay, so those every 6-month checkups are super important. We have, if they haven't gotten in before this summer is over, we do have opportunity for some of our school-based clinics to see our kids. We have 3 school-based sites. Could you talk to us a little bit about those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 3 school-based sites at Hawthorne Elementary, Terry Redlin Elementary, and Hayward Elementary. And so if you didn't get that exam, during the summertime, we have a full complement of dental services in those schools, and we absolutely love to see those kiddos twice a year.
So you talked a little bit about the sugary snacks, which we maybe have had a little bit too much of over the summer. And so getting back into that good routine for parents going into the school year, talk a little bit about brushing and flossing and how we might get back into those routines starting off when school starts.
Yeah, well, I can understand. I have 2 young kids, and summertime is filled with lots of fun activities that we maybe don't do on a usual basis, and so things like freezy pops, icicles, cotton candy, all those things are a part of kind of the American culture in the summertime, and I understand that, but we also want to try to limit those to special treats, not all the time. And still, even if you are having those sugary beverages or snacks, we need to make sure that we're maintaining the health with, like I said, that good brushing and flossing habits. I try to recommend that parents help brush their kids' teeth until they're able to, get into maybe 1st, 2nd grade where you can just monitor them. But I think it's important to get in and let them brush, learn how to brush, but then get in after them to get all those surfaces clean.
All right, well, we look forward to having a great school year, and if anybody has any questions about our dental program, they're certainly welcome to call Falls Community Health.
Please do.
Thanks, Dr. Schmitz.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Dr. Jennifer Tingley with us with some medical tips to get us back to school with our kids. So Dr. Tingley, what are some of the things that we can do for our kids medically to get them ready for the new school year?
Sure. I think one of the most important things is to make sure that we get our kids in for just a physical, a well child check leading up to the start of classes. Making sure that you don't call 1 week before school, because it's pretty hard to get kids in for those well child checks. But that would be really important to make sure that they're up to date on their vaccinations. The other thing is to get their eyes checked, which they can do just at their general pediatrician or family practitioner's office.
Okay, speaking of immunizations, we have a few new requirements this year for our middle school entry kids. Talk to us a little bit about those.
So this is a requirement for children going into the 6th grade, and there would be 2 requirements that the kids are going to have to make sure they have, which is a updated tetanus or Tdap. The other one is it's called meningococcal or a meningitis vaccine.
Okay, And we're moving into the fall a little bit here. Talk to us about flu vaccine. Is it a little too early to get our flu vaccine right at this point in time?
Yeah, it's a little bit too early right now. I would say no clinics are going to have the stock in, but certainly that will start coming in as we get closer to the start of school. That will be a really important vaccination to make sure that all kids, actually all adults, everybody gets the flu vaccine.
Okay, and heading into the new school year, what are some of the kind of routine things we can maybe change up to make sure our kids are rested well?
Right. Probably been sleeping in a little bit too much throughout the summer. So one of the things is to take a good week or two to allow them to kind of get used to that new schedule, getting them to bed on time, waking them up a little bit earlier in the morning, and then trying to keep that routine going even through the weekends as well.
How does that help with that scheduled sleep, help with our health?
Yeah, so lack of sleep really affects everything. As an adult, it will affect your blood pressure, it will affect diabetic control, it affects everything. But for kids, it affects your ability to concentrate, that they can learn better once they're in school. They have less difficult time paying attention, just to get as much as they can out of what their teacher's telling them.
Good sleep is good for all of us.
It's good for everybody, absolutely.
All right, thanks for your time, Dr. Tigley.
Thanks, Katie.
All right, our next topic is healthy nutrition for back to school. We have Stan Cogan with Live Well Sioux Falls with us today. Thanks for joining us, Stan.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about this back to school nutrition things. We might have gotten a little out of our regular eating routine over the summer. So talk to us a little about the reason for a really important healthy breakfast.
Okay, so healthy breakfast is really important because it sets your kids up for the rest of the day. So if you have a healthy breakfast and it's filling, then the kid won't be hungry until lunchtime, and that's perfect in the school environment.
Okay, and some of the things we want to include in that healthy breakfast?
Definitely want to have a source of protein to keep them full. Also, it's great if you can have some whole grains with that fiber in there as well, and that'll definitely keep them full for that period of time until lunch.
Perfect. And speaking of lunch, some of the things that we can pack for a healthy lunch. Sometimes we get a little bit too heavy on some of the chips or desserts, those kind of things. Talk to us about what is a healthy lunch.
Sure. I recommend having a fruit or vegetable in that lunch along with a dip if possible. So some hummus, or for example, you could try some guacamole or some salsa. Having some fruits and veggies in a dip is a great addition to the lunch, and also go for whole grain or whole wheat whenever possible for wheat products. Okay.
And how about the drink that you include in lunch? Would you say milk or would you say juice?
Definitely go for the lower sugar variety whenever possible. So definitely here, go for the low fat milk over the juice. Also go for water or go for any other low sugar beverage like an iced tea, for example.
Okay, and children are getting done with school. It's not quite supper time, and so we want to talk about some healthy after school snacks. What kind of healthy after school snacks would you suggest?
Healthy after school snacks, again, fruits and veggies with dip are really easy and really quick. Also, you can try going for a sandwich, use some whole wheat or whole grain bread, and then you can also try going for a soup or something that's easy to warm up as well.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your tips to get our kids off to a healthy new school year.
Thanks,
Stan.
And of course, as kids head back to school, there is a new elementary school in the southeast part of Sioux Falls that will open this fall, and a new way for kids to get to class.
Well, it's August and school is just about ready to start, and we are on the southeast part of the city by 69th Street and Southeastern Avenue, where we have a new Harrisburg Elementary School that's going to be opening up this fall. And we want to give you an update on the status of this new school. We bring to the show Josh from Public Works Engineering. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we are standing in front of a brand new pedestrian bridge. Can you give our viewers an idea of where this bridge actually is and kind of talk a little bit about why we need it?
Well, the bridge is actually between Brewster Street and Woods Edge Trail.
Okay, then these are streets that are already built or in the process?
They are half in the process and already built.
Okay.
So what this will do is this will connect a neighborhood to the north of the school over a drainage way to the school.
So it'll be a nice little walk for those elementary kids to actually go to school across a bridge.
It'll be very scenic.
Yeah. So the school is ready to open this fall, is that correct?
Correct.
So Josh, tell us a little bit about the specifics of this pedestrian bridge.
Well, this bridge is 120 feet long by 8 feet wide from rail to rail on the inside.
Okay.
The contractor set it here a couple weeks ago. It weighed about 60,000 pounds.
Okay.
They actually used 2 cranes, one on each side of the drainage way. Another interesting fact about this, it actually has a Brazilian hardwood called ipe, which is actually supposed to last 25 years, be mildew, mold, rotting resistant. It's actually an all-natural wood, No stain, no pre-treatment, no nothing on it. It's how it comes out of the tree.
So that's pretty, are pedestrian bridges pretty common for the city of Sioux Falls?
We do them in the neighborhoods occasionally.
Okay.
In a circumstance like this where we had a drainage way, this is kind of its own standalone.
Great. Well, it certainly would be a nice little welcome feature to the neighborhood, I would think. So with school starting at the end of August, tell us a little bit about the actual street construction that's going on 69th Street from Southeastern a little bit to the east, and then also on Sycamore from 57th Street down to Southeast or to 69th Street. What's the status of those two projects?
Well, on Sycamore Avenue, we went from a rural section to a 5-lane urban section,
Okay.
Curb and gutter, asphalt, sidewalks, and we actually just finished that mid-July.
Okay.
And 69th Street is the same type of deal there. We went from Vineyard, and then we stopped just after Bonson.
Okay.
And 5 lanes, curb and gutter, and that one we actually had a median in.
Okay.
And that one we are just finishing up here at the beginning of August.
Okay, so that is in anticipation also for the school opening.
Correct.
So there's got to be a lot of coordination that goes on with the school districts just to make sure we have paved roads for their buses and their parents and everything. So how long does that take place over numerous years?
We've been actually working with the school board for about 2 years now.
Excellent, excellent. So with the remaining portion of 69th Street and Sycamore then still being gravel, what is our plan then to actually get pavement all the way down on 69th Street to Sycamore and then up on Sycamore?
We are potentially looking at a project in 2017, next
Okay.
summer, to connect where we left off with 69th this year
Okay.
and connect into Sycamore. It'll be a rural section
Okay.
with possible some sidewalk features. That's still yet to be determined.
Okay, so this neighborhood back in the southeast part of the city is really going to change over the next couple of years.
Yes, it will.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time today.
And of course, you know it is time for kids to go back to school when that mercury just keeps going up and the ACs are working overtime. Now, that may have you wanting to water your lawn extra, but it's important to follow the lawn watering schedule and listen to some other tips we've got for you to keep that grass looking good.
I'm Jessica Lanchin, Sustainability Coordinator for the City of Sioux Falls. I'm here today to talk about the lawn watering schedule here in Sioux Falls. So here in Sioux Falls, we do have a lawn watering program that's divided up into 3 different stages. For the most part, we will always be in stage 1. The stages of the lawn watering program are really determined by the flow of the Big Sioux River. Right now we are in stage 1, and so basically what that means is if you have an even numbered house on your address, you can water on even numbered days. If you have an odd numbered house address, you can water on odd numbered days. No water user at all is allowed to water between noon and 5 p.m. That's basically because the evaporation rate is so high, and we really want to manage our water resources wisely here in Sioux Falls. So you can water every other day. It's just going to depend on your house number and the calendar date. So we do want to make sure that everyone is using our water resources wisely. So if you see something, we want you to say something. If somebody is watering between the hours of noon and 5, or if there is somebody who is watering every day of the week when they shouldn't be, we want you to call city offices and report that to us, and we'll send somebody out to check on it. However, there are some exceptions. If you are putting in new sod, you can call the city and get a special permit to water every day, but you do need to let us know and we'll work with you on that. So the best time to water your lawn is in the morning because the evaporation rates are lower, but we also want to water infrequently but a good thorough soak for your lawn. That will cause the roots to grow down deeper and make your grass actually stronger. Another thing that we tell people is to let your grass grow a little bit higher. That will provide shade for the roots. And then when you do mow, it's best to leave the grass clippings on the grass because that will also provide some shade for your grass as well. So doing things like that will help you to conserve water on your own. The City of Sioux Falls has lots of resources available to you to help you conserve water. We've got free water conservation devices available at City Hall and the Utility Billing Office. We also have some rebates available for irrigation timers and rainfall sensors. For more information about the free items that we have, as well as tips on how to save water at your home, visit siouxfalls.org.
You think your job's hot? Well, imagine having to fight fires when the mercury goes up. We take a look at how firefighters stay cool after the break.
All around town, from stores to playgrounds, babies are on the move. And there are diseases that are on the move too. And some of these spread easily. To best protect him from 14 serious diseases by the time he turns 2 years old, vaccinate him according to the recommended schedule, so he can go on about his business and you can have peace of mind. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor or go to cdc.gov/vaccines.
Hello, I'm Dr. Martinson with Falls Community Health. Today we're going to talk about some safety tips for bicycle riding. Number 1, wear a properly fitting helmet. Number 2, wear bright reflective clothing. Number 3, follow the rules of the road. This means following traffic and always looking for cars. And number 4, err on the side of caution. Bike riding is a great form of exercise. Be safe and enjoy your ride.
In an emergency, seconds can save lives. That's why Sioux Falls Fire Rescue has partnered with Pulse Point Foundation to bring you an innovative app that can alert CPR-trained citizens by smartphone of a sudden cardiac arrest near them. It provides the location of the victim as well as the nearest automatic external defibrillator. To learn more, log on to our webpage or download the app today.
Welcome back. Staying cool when your job literally brings the heat, well, that can be a challenge. Chief Jim Sedaris tells us how firefighters stay cool when the temperatures go up.
Hi, I'm Fire Chief Jim Sedaris, and we're going to talk about the extremes of firefighting. South Dakota is a place of extremes where in the wintertime it can be sub-zero, summertime like we're seeing now, well over 100 degrees. What's it like for firefighters when they're having to battle with those conditions? Well, in the summertime we have to look at a lot of things, not just the temperature, but the humidity, because that will affect how our firefighters operate. What we try to do in wildland fires, meaning grass fires or even forest fires for when we send our firefighters out West River, is we look at gear that's a little lighter and designed more for wildland firefighting. It's a little lighter. Normally our gear weighs about in excess of 50 pounds. They don't need all that gear when we're talking about wildland firefighting. Helps keep them cooler. One thing we always are worried about is hydration of our firefighters. And for anybody, hydration starts the day before you come to work, not the day of work. So we always are encouraging our firefighters to drink water, stay healthy. Even at fires, we do rest periods where we work and then have a rest period, because depending on the temperature and that humidity level, it can affect the performance of our firefighters. Our firefighters are really nothing more than industrial athletes. They're working at extreme temperatures, extreme conditions, but yet they're working at maximum capacity of their bodies. So we're always looking at that. Same thing when we have house fires. A lot of times when we have house fires, we know that our firefighters can work for about 15 to 20 minutes at maximum intensity. Then we have to pull them out, get them rested, rehydrated, get their gear off so they can cool off. After that period, then we rotate them back into a fire. And that's about the time that a tank of air lasts, so it's a good number to figure out how long our firefighters have been in, and then we rotate them out. What that does is it keeps it safer for the firefighters. Also, we get more workload out of our firefighters by having them rest up instead of just essentially spending them down to nothing and then now bringing another crew in. So we look at all those different aspects for firefighting operations. This summertime heat is really difficult for us, and it changes so rapidly that we have to always be monitoring that. What we do ask of the public is if you see smoke, if you see grass fires, call us early, because things can get ugly really fast, especially with high wind grass fires. The grass can dry out very quickly. Normally you'll see grass is nice and green, and within a day or two it can dry out because of the wind coming across and the heat. So we need to be very apparent. This is everybody's business. It's not just firefighters. Those grass fires can move very rapidly, change direction very rapidly, and your house could be in the path of a grass fire as it's moving, and we need to get ahead of those very quickly. So we have the public urge them to say, hey, there's something going on. We'd rather have you call us and not need us than need us and call us too late, because then we're behind that power curve and we can't get the resources there fast enough to possibly save your home. So that's all the things that we look at when we talk about summer firefighting. And it's another reason that we have for our firefighters mandatory workout portions, so we're having our firefighters stay healthy, working out, because we do know when those tones go off and they're going to those fires, we just don't know what to expect, and we know that they could be in the battle for their lives just seconds away, so we want them to be at our peak capacity for work performance at all times.
And finally, a little H2O. Did you know we've got a preview of the 2016 Big Sioux River Water Summit?
I'm Jesse Nyans, environmental analyst from the City of Sioux Falls, and today I want to talk to you about our 4th annual Mayor's Big Sioux River Summit. The summit will be held on September 7th at the Hilton Garden Inn downtown Sioux Falls from 1 to 6 p.m. So at this year's Water Summit, there will be presentations that'll show what's going on in the watershed, what projects we're working on in the watershed. There will also be information on how green infrastructure helps our water quality today and in the future. And also you can see how you can get involved in some of the water quality projects in the Big Sioux River watershed. This is the 4th year we've held the Mayor's Big Sioux River Summit. And the reason we have the summit is to really educate people about water quality in the Big Sioux River, and that they can get involved in these types of projects and help keep our river clean. A lot of the things we learned in the past, we know that the Big Sioux River is considered impaired for bacteria and total suspended solids. So we've learned kind of the history of the river, what we've had so far, and we're hoping to show you some of the updates and some of the progress we've made on some of the water quality issues. And to get more people to learn about what's going on is what we want to really showcase here. We have a keynote speaker, Kurt Dieter. He's an attorney from the state of Minnesota who's helped Governor Dayton with the buffer rule in the state of Minnesota. So he's going to speak about some of their challenges and things with those types of projects. So we're hoping we can learn about buffers, and it's one of the programs that we're trying to do within the City of Sioux Falls as well, is put buffers along some of our waterways and river. A buffer is basically an area of either grass or maybe planting native grasses along the river that helps stormwater filter through before it reaches our river, so it can clean the water before it gets into the river. A lot of times now we have no treatment of that stormwater, and these areas will help with treating the water and also help infiltrate the water into the ground before getting into our river. As a citizen, we think you should care because we have the river that runs right through the middle of town, and it's a great resource for the City of Sioux Falls. It's a great recreational area, and cleaner water benefits everybody, not just the city or anybody else. It benefits everybody, both upstream and downstream of the City of Sioux Falls. For this event, there's no registration. It's open to the public and it's free, so there's no pre-registration. Again, it's 1 to 6 p.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn in Sioux Falls on September 7th from 1 to 6 p.m. For more information, you can go to siouxfalls.org/green, which is our city website, and we'll also be posting some radio ads and more media advisories as the date gets closer. We are having the East Dakota Watershed Development District host a watershed tour before the summit. That'll be from 9 to 11:30. That will require registration before the event, and to register for the watershed tour, you can go to siouxfalls.org/green to register for the watershed tour before the summit. The watershed tour, we're basically going to go out to sites where we've actually installed some of these buffer areas. We actually have some livestock containment barns that we've helped built with some of the city funds and the city projects. So we're going to go show how we've improved water quality, or attempting to improve water quality, through some of our Central Big Sioux River watershed project funds.
And that does it for this month here on City Scene. Don't forget, if you missed anything or want to rewatch, all you need to do is head over to siouxfalls.org, or of course check us out on YouTube. We'll see you back here next month.